What's up, family, and welcome back to my channel. I feel like I haven't said this in forever. I feel it's been a while, but I am back. I've been off the camera, I think, for like 2 months, but I'm back. No, I'm back, and yeah, so I'm coming back with a lot of testimonies. I am coming back with a lot of story times, and of course to share the word with you guys. And yeah, so yeah, it's been 2 months. That 2 months was a bit hectic, but anyway, I'm gonna have to update you guys in my next Q&A. My next video is going to be about testimonies. Then after that, I'm going to be sharing the Q&A, basically, because you guys have been asking me, where are you at, where are the videos at, when are you posting? Right, I'm posting today. I'm going to post, so yeah, so I'm back with a video. So today it is story time, so I'm excited to share this one. I've been wanting to share it and waiting to share it, and it's like a story time / testimony type of thing. But yeah, so let us just get into the video. So today I'm going to be sharing about my big move. I want to call it my faith move to Johannesburg, and yeah, and how I when I got here, I was unemployed, and then I got jobs, and then I quit 2 of my jobs. So I just think let's just get into the story, and yeah, we'll see Pambi. Let's just get into the story. So this was the year 2021. Yeah, 2021. So 2020 I dropped out, right? When I dropped out, so I was back at home. Now I'm back at home and back in varsity. I remember I've always wanted to come to Johannesburg, guys. Listen, I believe it's the city of dreams. It is the city of gold, and I was like, you know what? I want to come here and I want to dig my own gold. I want to find this gold, and I believe that if you make it here in Joburg, you can basically make it anywhere, because it's such a big city and it's got so much opportunities, and of course it's so competitive at the same time, so I feel like here, if you really do find yourself, you really are going to make it, so I was like, I need to be in Joburg. But I remember even still back in varsity, I was like, how am I gonna go to Joburg? I never knew how, and the story and how God is going to place me here, but it has always been my desire, and it's always been like a want for me. And yeah, so I've been here in Joburg. So it really is funny how I happened to stay here, and I was having lunch with a friend of mine. So we're having lunch, and I just dropped out, right? So now we just should be having an update to say, okay, so what is your next move? What is your next plan? What are you planning with your life? Yeah, so we're just having that conversation, and she lives in Joburg, right? So she's working here in Joburg. So we never had that conversation about me wanting to come to Joburg. So the conversation was just about, what's your plan? Are you going back to school? Are you going to finish your degree? And all of those things, right? And then fast forward, this was the 26th, right? Fast forward on the 29th, I think, if it was not the 30th, the 29th, I am not, guys, I'm not a person who likes taking people's data. I know at that time, because I was firstly using my data. So I know with Instagram, it charts your data if you're going to look at people's statuses. So I was just that person. I was off Instagram, but I never used to check people's stories, because I was like, yo, if I check someone's story, my data is going to finish, especially because back at home we had no Wi-Fi, no router, no modem, nothing. So I was like, I ain't about to finish my data on Instagram. So basically on that day, I can't tell you what was like, go to Instagram and check stories. As I'm going there to Instagram, I'm checking stories. And as I'm checking the stories, my friend happens to post a post on her stories, and she says she's looking for somebody to stay with. Guys, I didn't even hesitate. I was like, boom. I slid into those DMs like, yo, like I was like very quick about it. I was like, whoop, and I was like, girl, that is me, and girl, I want to come stay with you. And it's very funny, because she's like, are you serious? Because I mean, she didn't even take me seriously. She was like, are you serious? You want to come to Johannesburg? And I'm like, yes, Goli is calling me, so I'm coming to Joburg. And yeah, so that was how the conversation started. So now we have one dilemma, right? So the dilemma is, I don't have a pay slip, ne? Because I'm not working, right? And secondly, my bank statement is very rocky. It's a rocky situation. So basically I can't even, because now we have to apply for the lease and all of those things, sign contracts for the apartment we're going to stay in and all of those things. So certain documents are needed. And no payslip, bank statement is rocky, and I mean, I need someone who's working. So then I'm like, okay, sharp, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to lie to my mother. Guys, please, I'm not saying please no lies here, ne? No lies. But I mean, I had to do what I had to do. So the girl needed to do what she needed to do. So I was like, okay, grand shop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my mom there is an apartment that I want to stay in Bloemfontein. So now they need her documents, right? But I'm not going to tell her that this apartment that I want to stay in is actually in Johannesburg, right? So I go to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I need your payslip. I need a copy of your ID. I need your bank statement, right? Mom is like, okay, sharp, girl, take the stuff. So I take her stuff. I do everything. I pay, bah. So everything is done and dusted. Now, the only problem is I lied and said the place or the apartment that I want to stay in is in Bloemfontein. So now my mom knows it's in Bloemfontein, but she does not know and is not aware that it's actually in Johannesburg. So I think after doing all of this, so I sent out the papers, signed the lease, everything, the contract, everything was sorted. And now the big problem is I need to tell my mom that, by the way, your girl wants to go to a different province. She wants to go to the city of gold. I remember it was like a week, guys. I've never stressed so much in my life, ever. Because firstly, number one, I lied to my mom. Number two, I don't know, because at the same time, you don't want to go to a different city without your mother's or your parents' blessing. Because now I'm afraid of that. I'm just like, if she says no, I've already done everything. I've paid even my deposits. I've done every single thing. And my mom says, no, I cannot go to a different province or city without her blessing. Because at the end of the day, we always want our parents' blessings in every single thing that we do. So now I'm stuck there. I'm like, if she says no, what am I going to do? Because I've done practically everything, And yeah, so it was just that. And I was just like, oh my God, so I kept on praying. About that week, guys, me and God were like this. I was like, God, you need to come through. I know you're the God who makes a way, so you better make a way, And at the same time, I had so much faith and I believed so much that, this is the city I'm supposed to be in, and I know God is going to make a way. But it was so crazy in how I did everything. But I was like, hey, this is the one I'm guys. Me, I was like, yo, I say guys, it's fine, but at this point I've done everything. I've done my parts. I was like, God, I've done this faith move, so now do your parts there. Now I did my parts. So that was the conversation I was having with God. And I just remember me and my sister, like almost every single day, she would be like, Manje, when you're telling your mom. So in my head I'm thinking, yo, you're stressing me out, I'm going to tell her, So it was one of those things. So and then the day finally came. It was the 11th of February. So on the 11th of February, I was like, you know what? Let me just grab my granny panties, Let me just be a woman about this thing and wear these granny panties and go go tell my mom that I'm going to Joburg. I remember the day, guys. Stress. I don't know, if I didn't lose weight on that day, just in one day, because I was just like, oh my gosh, what is she going to say? So I talked to her. So I'm expecting the worst case scenario. I'm expecting my mom to say, no ways, nah. Guys, her response, even till today, I'm just like, how did that happen, And she was so graceful about it. She was so peaceful about it. She was like, yeah, my girl, you can go. So I ended up thinking, I'm like, are you serious? I think I remember in my head, because I wasn't expecting such a response from her. So I was like, are you serious? It's like, yeah, you can go. Then she asked me, she's like, am I going to travel from Johannesburg to Bloemfontein? Because in her mind, she still believes that I'm going to go finish my degree and stuff. So I'm like, no, I want to go find a job. Then she's like, but when I was so for the I got a degree. I got a degree so for then I'm just like, yeah, I just want to go find my feet. And by the grace of God, my mom just said yes. And that's when I knew that God's hand was on this journey of me coming to Johannesburg and everything. Even how my mom just said yes. I mean, my sister and I, we gave ourselves that look. It's like we couldn't believe it. It was like, what? We were expecting the hell, I don't know, we were expecting the earth and the heavens to come colliding together, and but she said yes. And even the trip, we went to Bloemfontein together. My nephew and his friend helped me to pack my stuff. So it was just such a beautiful trip even coming here to Johannesburg, and it was just amazing. That's when I knew. I was like, okay, God, you have a plan for me. That God, you really do want me to be here, and yeah. And also I thank my mom for allowing me, guys, to go want to find my feet, to go want to find myself, and to do a self-discovery journey, and yeah. So I get to Johannesburg, the city of dreams and gold. I'm unemployed. So now I'm unemployed. I've never worked a day in my life. The only work experience that I have was with social work, with our practicals, and also with the organizations that I volunteered in, right? So that's the only work experience that I have. So I mean, I'm like, okay, now I'm there, I'm stuck by myself. I'm thinking, what are you good at? So I start having these conversations with myself, Then I'm like, okay, I know that I can sell. I know that I can speak, I'm like, okay, I have that sharp. Then I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I love people. That's another thing that that's why I also studied social work, because I love people, and at the same time I love helping. So I'm like, okay, what job can I find that can accommodate all three? I am helping, at the same time I am speaking, at the same time I'm selling something, right? So that's what I did. So I was like, okay, it's Konama sales, like sales. I was like, okay, let me just be a waitress, because with the waitress too, you're still helping, getting money at the same time. So I was like, okay, so I had three options. I wanted to be a sales representative, I wanted to be a waitress, and also a call center agent, right? So grand shop, I write that on my journal. I was like, God, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. So I was like, okay. I remember when I first started, because it was COVID times, right? So a lot of organizations, because I also wanted to do a lot of volunteering work, because I knew I studied social work. So I was like, okay, let me just get into organizations. And a lot of organizations weren't taking any volunteers because of COVID and all of those things. So I was like, okay, sharp. So the only way to go now is to find a job. So I took to Indeed. I went to Career Junction, and I think it was also Career 24. Started applying, right? So then I applied. Then within, I think, a week or 2 weeks, I get a response with my first job. So my first job, I was a sales representative, and we were doing direct sales, right? So in my head, I'm like, I don't even know what is direct sales. But the fact I got a job for the first time, I'm going to, I was happy. I go to my job, and I'm like, I get there, I'm like, okay, sharp, because I didn't even know what to expect. Even with the interview, I'm ticking there, but I'm just like, okay, I just want to get a job, as long as if I have a job. I get my job, only to find out it's commission based, right? And there is no basic salary. I was like, man, I'm a lover of things. I'm a lover of good things, and I want to be able to take care of myself. So if I'm going to get a job and it's just only commission, how am I going to survive? And job work is very expensive. I'm like, okay, sharp. But I wanted to stay, because I'm like, I've never had a job, and I'm going to seek this through. I'm going to weather it through the storms. I'm going to, right? Then I was like, okay, sharp. The place where I'm at, I mean, I'm using a lot of money for transportation, and at the same time, it's like a lot of money was coming out because I'm buying food, it's for transport, all of those things, but less money coming in. Then I'm like, okay, sharp. Then with my job as a direct salesperson, it's direct, so you need to meet your customers and your clients directly, So basically, we are the ones who sell funeral cover at a retail store. So we are there, then you sell your funeral cover and all of those things. And oh my gosh, guys, you stand. I was never ready. I thought I was ready for the job, but I was never ready, because You start because you need to be at the office at like 6:30. These were working hours, 6:30, because then there's training. Then at around 8 o'clock, then you guys go to the places, that the retail store that you're supposed to go to, and all of those things. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's money coming out of my own pockets. I'm standing a lot in this job. I don't even believe in the products that I'm selling. I was like, this is not my job, and I remember I had to have an honest conversation, because I was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to stay longer. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to stick through the job, man. I just dropped out, so I can't just be leaving any job. But hey, I quit my job. I was like, no, I need a job now that has a basic. I need a job where I can sit down. I don't want to be standing. I need a job that has my working hours, man, must be at least reasonable, reasonable working hours. And yeah, then I was like, okay, I need a job that's closer to work, or for transport. I don't want to be spending so much money on transportation. Guess what? I wrote that down in my journal. I was like, God, this is what I want. God, this is what I want. And guess what? God gave me exactly what I wanted. Then I remember, okay, Sharpie, after 2 weeks, I applied now. I was like, okay, let me try call center. What's happening there by call centers? I know they help people. I know you speak. I know you sell products. I was like, okay, sharp. Applied call center. No experience. I'm like, oh, God, thank you. Got my job. Right. I said I want a job that is closer to work. Transportation, basic salary, all of those things. I got exactly that. So my job, where I was working, the rank was like here. Then my job is like, you just cross the street and then there's where I work, type of thing. Tick. I wanted a basic. This job had a basic salary plus commission. I was like, tick. And I was like, okay, I don't have to waste more money or on transportation, all of those things. Sharp. I get to my job, guys. Firstly, number one, I believe if you're going to be selling anything, right, you need to believe in the product. And you need to also see yourself having that product, because if you don't believe in it, how are you going to make somebody else believe in it? And basically with my second job, it was cold calling. So basically we're just calling people randomly that we just like, do you want this? And I didn't believe in the product itself. I wouldn't buy the product myself too. So I was like, nah. So I wasn't as interested. Also just like very demotivated. The basic salary, yes, there was a basic, but I felt like it didn't even meet my basic needs. Basically at that time, I was like, like here when I'm calculating transports, I'm calculating everything, I'm just like, nah, it's not going to be my job. The working hours for me, I don't know, right? It's very important for me, because at the end of the day, I need to, when I come back home, I need to be able to center myself. So I found out that I was working 12 hours, especially in sales. In sales, it's a hectic job, guys. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not easy, so if you didn't meet your targets, because it was flexi, if you made your target, you could go home at any time. So if you didn't meet your target, you are going to stay there until about 7:30. So now I'm finding that I need to take a taxi late, and then the taxi will drop me off by the mall. That I have to start walking, so I'm thinking of my safety and all of those things. So yeah, I had to calculate. Now I'm making calculative decisions, and I'm like, okay, guess what your girl did? I quit again. I was like, no, God, I can't. It's not what I want. And now, honestly speaking, I felt like I had created a pattern of myself quitting things, because it was like the first thing I quit was not finishing my degree. Then the second one was like, okay, now it was the first job that you got, you quit. Then it was like your second job you got, you quit. And now I started feeling like, okay, maybe I am somewhat of a failure, and why can't I stick through jobs? Why can't I finish? What is wrong with me? Why can't I finish? So I started having that thing to say, oh my gosh, Kanye, you are such a failure. You can't even finish jobs, and all of those things, But I had to have an honest conversation. And I always say that I always put myself first in every single thing that I do. My mental health matters in every single thing, right? If it's not good for me mentally, I will not do it. Right? Because I cannot lose myself. Because if I lose myself, I'm going to lose my dreams. I'm going to lose my goals. I'm going to lose everything. So I was like, okay, grand shop, it's okay. And what I learned in this season, or that season of my life, was it's okay to try things out, and those things not being what you want, right? So it's okay to say I tried something, but it's not working for me. It's not for me. Unlike saying that thing is not for me, but you have never tried it in your life. So I was like, okay, it's okay to try and fail than to fail and not have tried at all. So for me, I was like, okay, it was a self-discovery. Coming to Johannesburg, I was here to self-discover myself, to find out what am I good at, what do I love, what am I passionate about, what am I about as Kanyesile, at the end of the day. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm not going to be hard on myself, because I am just getting to know me. I am just getting to find my feet and to know who I am. So even if I fail at things, even if I have to quit at things, it's okay. I tried. It's not for me. Somebody else can do a better job, and me now I won't, right? So that's how I quit. And yay, then it was hectic. Guys, then it was hectic. Now I have to try to find another job. And that's going to be my testimony on my next video, on the current job that I have and everything, and how God just made sure that everything, guys, uNkulunkulu will always give you your heart's desires. He knows what you need. He knows what you want. He knows when you need it. He knows when to give it to you. So it was just with everything. It was so perfect. And I'm going to tell you guys that testimony in my next video on how I got the job and everything else. And he's been just a faithful God and been so amazing. So yeah, and in this story time, things that I would like you guys to take out is never allow anyone to stop you from your dreams, and especially do not stop yourself from doing what you want and getting what you want. I remember when I was like, I did everything behind my mom's back and everything, but there was a faith in me that says I want to go there, and I will go there. Even if I don't know if my mom said no, I don't know, that would be another story for another day, but I was like, I'm gonna go there, and when I go there, I want to go and make it. It's the city of gold, right? So I'm going to have to dig up that gold. I am not going to leave here without finding my piece, my portion of the gold. So I was like, okay, God would have not allowed me to go from province to province, jumping provinces, to let me start failing now. So that is a determination that when I left, I was like, you know what? I might left not knowing who I was. But being here in Joburg, I've discovered so many things about myself. And the second thing that I've learned is you need to have faith and you need to trust God in every single thing that you do. You must know that He will always make a way, because they always say wherever God leads, He provides. Wherever God leads, and there's protection, and He makes a way. So that's when I knew that this has got to have God's hand upon my life, so His hand is definitely upon my life. And yeah, and the third thing, it's okay to make mistakes, and I'll honestly always say this, and it's okay to discover yourself. Do not be hard on yourself. Do not be too harsh on yourself. It is okay to try different things, even if you have to try 100 things and it still doesn't work out. But as long as you tried and you're like, okay, it's not for you, you move. And yeah, and then I think one thing that I learned is I was listening to Steve Harvey. I love his motivation early in the morning, and he was talking about we have not because we ask not. I remember with every single thing that I wanted, I asked God. I wanted to go to Johannesburg, and I told him, I was like, listen, I want to go to Johannesburg, make a way. And when I told him I wanted to be in a call center, I wanted to be a sales representative, every single thing I had asked God for, He came through. So I don't know what you're asking God for. I don't know what faith move you want to do. I don't know what you're trusting God for. What I want you to know is ask. He said you ask and you shall receive. You knock and the door shall be opened. Seek and you will find. So that is what I'm holding on. That's what I just would like you guys to know in this video is keep on asking, keep on knocking, keep on seeking, because our God is a faithful, faithful God, especially if He's told you to do something, and especially if He has told you to move that direction. Trust me, He is not a God that's going to fail you. He's not a God that's going to leave you just behind and, with everything. And I've seen the hand of God even here in Johannesburg. I mean, His hand, He has provided so much. He's provided so much. He's made ways for me. Sometimes I'm in awe. I stand and I'm in awe. But at the end of the day, this was my story, and I don't know what you believe in God for. I don't know what faith move. I don't know, maybe you're planning on going to a different country and all of those things. And you're like, I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that. But let me tell you, as long as you have God, you've got everything. As long as you have God, and as long as you're a child of God, you've got the favor. You've got the favor. You've got God's hand. You've got God's anointing. You are not going to fail in anything. So basically that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And my big faith moved to Johannesburg, and yeah, I'm still here and I'm still digging the gold. I think I think I'm gonna find the gold. I think the gold, I'm very close. I'm very close into finding the gold and everything. And yeah, so I'm going to be sharing my next video. So next video, guys, it's testimonies upon testimonies upon testimonies. I can't wait to share, guys. I can't wait for you guys to know how God has been in the room, how God has been working in my life, how He has been so faithful, like so faithful. So yeah, so my next video, just be ready to just hear testimonies. I want you guys to see my God. My God is moving and He's in action. And I did say in this my channel that I want to share so many testimonies, because I want you guys to know that God is alive, that He is real, and He moves and He cares for His children. So with my next video, watch out for testimonies. And in my videos, in my next, that video, I'm sure you're gonna think I'm God's favorite child, which at this point I kind of think I still am God's favorite child. So this was my video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please do it. Please do it. It's been a while since I said this. That's why I'm tickering. But anyway, please do give it a like, a thumbs up, notification gang, a subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye.